anyone who knows me in real life knows that that was something that I wanted to do in my life. Space science, I wanted to study that. I was so obsessed with space. I still am. It's not it's not really a secret. And so when he told me like he was studying this some spacey thing, some space engineering, and I was like, what do you study? Tell me all about it. And I was like all over the place because I was just like so excited that someone was actually studying something related to space, and I was just like so happy. And I kept asking him questions, and he was very happy to talk about them. And he was like, "Oh, I also really love the space." And then he was like, "Okay, if you love the space, why don't we both tell each other a fact about space, and then we're gonna discuss about it?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, okay." And then he would tell me a space fact, and then we would discuss it and talk about it. And then I would tell him a space fact, and we would discuss it. And then he was very impressed with my knowledge of space because it was so good. And he was like, "Wow, you know that?" I was like, "Man, I read articles, like actual articles, not just TikToks about space and new discoveries and whatever the hell NASA is doing these days." These days. Yeah. And then he was like, "You know what? There was actually a pretty cool project that we were working on before the COVID hit, and it had, now I don't remember it exactly because it was so technical, but it has something to do with muons and neutrons and something. They were doing something in a tube, and it had, the results were gonna tell them something about time, relativity, something. Because if I remember correctly, muons have a really fast decaying time, I guess, or they change into something like muons are really very quick, something like that. Yeah, it's not like I know physics that well, okay? Just don't come at me. Yeah, so it was related to muons and some time period calculation, and he was telling me so deeply about it. It's like I was listening to him like talk about it, and I was like so interested. I was searching things on the other tab, what things he was talking about, and I was too embarrassed to ask him what it meant. But I was asking questions, but I was still embarrassed to ask about some things because even though I was a medical science student, I did not want to appear like someone who did not know everything about physics. Just kidding. But yeah, I was a bit embarrassed. Yeah. Anyways, so it was so cool, and we talked about his project for a long time, and then we talked about other spacey things, and we were talking for, I think it was 2 hours. When we had been there for 2 hours, that's when we realized, oh my god, we have been talking for so long. It was amazing. It was such a great conversation and such a fun time, and none of us wanted to get up and leave. But eventually, you have to leave. That's what I consider to be my best interaction with a total stranger because it was so meaningful. It was about stars, it was about space, it was about physics, and it was fun. It was long and pretty nice. It was pretty nice. I think we talked afterwards as well about other things and pollution, I guess. I like to talk about pollution as well. Like I come here in every episode telling you something about pollution and the weather. So that was the best one. And why did I start with the best one? Now, none of the other ones are gonna compare to this one. But let's carry on. What else do I have? And you are very welcome. Please tell me about your interactions with strangers that blew you away, that are very memorable, or that was just like a little nod or a smile for someone that you still remember, or a nice gesture that somebody did. Tell me about your interactions with strangers that you remember or that you hold dear, because this one is very dear to me. I love this one. Okay, so that was that. I had to pause the recording and think, really hard for an interaction from the real life because most of the ones that I could think of were online ones, and I was like, we really need to think of something from not the online world and the real world, which is boring, to be honest. Anyways, but I did find something, and for this one, we have to travel way back. Probably like if I was 19 in my previous interactions, now we have to travel back 19 years, I guess. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, no, I'm not that old. I'm not a grandma, but we do have to, I guess, travel 19 years back, or maybe 20. No, it can't be 20. It's 19 or 18, something like that. So let's go back to the past, and where am I? I think I'm in first grade or the grade before the first grade, and I was in the school, and somehow on the on the floor where my class was, on that floor, we were like the senior most class. I mean, we were literally like 5 or 6 years old, but we were the senior most class on the floor. So I think we used to feel very old, and like we were not getting enough playtime, and we were not getting all the privileges of being young, even though we were 5 years old. Oh my god. Wow, the relativity of things. Anyways, I think there used to be these assignments for the younger kids. It's so weird to say younger kids when I was 5 years old at that time. I mean, that's crazy. Anyways, the kids younger than us at that time, they used to get these worksheets that seemed so fun because obviously they were not related to studies. They were like for coloring, and it was like games on it or something like that. I don't even remember what was on these worksheet papers. So I think we asked our teacher to give us those worksheets as well because we wanted to do them as well, but teachers were like, no, these are not for you, these are for the little kids, and you guys have to do this, that. And I was so envious of those little kids who got to do those worksheets. And then there was this room. I can't explain the map of the school to you, but there was this small storeroom where they used to throw all the extra papers in and all the extra worksheets and exams of senior classes, and all kinds of papers were literally thrown in that room. And one day I found that room unlocked. Yep, that was my treasure. I was like, whoo, today is the day. I have to put aside all my morals and I have to steal. I think I was alone at school. I think my parents were running late from picking me up, and that's why I found the room unlocked in the first place, I guess. And I was able to think that I should steal, and get some goodies for myself. That's so funny. Anyways, when I went to that room, it was a bit scary. This is this room on the very side. School is empty, tiny place, dark. It was a scary endeavor, but I had to do it because I had to solve those worksheets. When I opened the door, I found two other girls inside who were doing the same thing that I was doing. I cannot even believe the odds of that happening, but yeah, they saw me, I saw them, they had papers in their hands, and they were like, please don't tell anyone. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, and they told me like they wanted the worksheets, and what even was in those worksheets? Wow. And I guess when they asked me what I was doing there, or when they asked me to not tell anybody, 5-year-old me acted nonchalant, and I was like, I won't tell anybody. But what are you doing? What are these? Oh, this looks fun. Okay. Yeah, I'm not that interested, but whatever you guys are doing, I can stick around, I guess. And I had a really fun time collecting papers. And this other girl, she had some experience. She knew in which piles the more fun worksheets were in, and she introduced me to a pile of worksheets that I did not even know existed. I think whatever personality I was wearing was dissolved by the time we started looking for papers together, because I was just like, oh my god, I did not know these one existed as well. And it was a really fun time. I don't think I ever saw her again, and I think I changed schools, so I never met her again, but she helped me get some really good stuff. You know, she got me a good deal, and I went home with a bag full of worksheets with me. And I think I told my mom the truth that I stole them, and I think she scolded me and gave me a lecture on how we should not do that and I should go and say sorry the next day. I don't think I did, but I don't think she really had a problem. I mean, her child wanted to solve some more papers, I guess. But those were fun, and I kept them in a very secret place in the house because those were my prized possessions. And yeah, while we were collecting those papers, the interaction I was having with this girl was so good. She and we were partners in crime, and it was fun. This girl was very extroverted, and she was talking to me, and she was explaining things to me, and she was introducing me to new traders, and it was really fun, really, really fun, and I was very happy. Another interaction that I just remember, it's a pretty small thing, but it's something that I didn't think it was a thing, but now that I know that it's a thing, I think it's an amazing thing. This is where my memory is kind of beating me, because I don't remember if I was the one who did it or if the other girl in this story, she did it. Story, there's nothing even to tell. Basically, I was in my van, and sometimes some random people would come in the van. You know, this person comes in. Usually I would have music, like I would have my headphones in, and that day I did not have my headphones, I guess. And she comes and sits right beside me in the van and put in her headphones, and she's listening to music, and I'm just like very envious. And after some time, she doesn't even say anything to me, and she just like offers me an earpiece, one of the earpieces. Yeah, and she just like so casually, she just like gave it to me, and I was like, okay. And I listened to her music. Don't remember what kind of music that was, but I do remember that I came home that day, and I was like, you know what is a really cool way to interact with someone? Just offer them a headphone, like an earpiece. That was really cool, and I liked it a lot. I am literally so cold right now. My hands are freezing. The moon is still looking pretty. It's quite golden now. It was white before, it's golden now, and it has come down quite a bit. It has traveled a lot. This episode is kind of like, because I have to pause and think really hard for all my fragments of memory. So it's taking a lot of time to record. So moon has traveled a good amount of area in the sky. Now this other interaction now that I'm going to mention, I do not know the person I was interacting with was a girl or a boy, but it sort of gets annoying to keep calling someone they, them, and using those pronouns. So I'm gonna use him because that's what we call people we don't know the gender of. Should I say him? I can try they, them. But anyways, I think it would be a girl though, because I don't think a guy would have talked like that. Maybe he would have. Maybe, I don't know. So this person, it was a random app where you could talk to strangers. I have used so many kind of games and apps where you can talk to strangers. So I don't remember where this happened, but there was this chat box, and I was talking to some person. Now I don't remember how we started talking, how we got into the chat box, whatever, but I remember that I was being so non-serious in my conversation, and I was like just saying the most random things. I was talking in how people would talk in the period era, or maybe even before that. I was like talking in Shakespearean language for the fun of it, and this person was playing along with it, and that was the best thing. It was so fun when someone plays along with me. I just Love them. It's amazing.